There was some pretty cool audio that came out of the Dubai Desert Classic yesterday that I want to play for you and then talk about it. It's from Lee Westwood and then Bryson DeChambeau. And we're going to kind of get into Between the Lines Friday today. But very interesting comments and definitely worth talking about to help us in our golf games. Let's tee it up.
Welcome to Data Access Golf, your home for rapid golf improvement. And now, from the thin air of the Rocky Mountains, next on the number one tee, your host, Aaron Stewart.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Data Access Golf. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we got the mic at the right, it looks like it's the right recording level this time. But thank you for being here on a Friday. A fill in the blanks Friday, I think is what we're going to call it. I mentioned there was some really cool audio that came out, and I kind of wanted to jump into it. So first off, there's this piece from Lee Westwood. It's out of the European Tour, and they asked him this question. He'd kind of come out and said some things, and so they asked him to sort of clarify what he meant. So let's go ahead and play that now, and then we'll comment on it on the other side.
Lee, I'm going to jump straight into this. We're going to forget the 5 under par for a moment. I'm going to ask you, you made a quote yesterday saying, I'm a very dangerous man at the moment because I don't care anymore. Can you explain what that means and why?
Yeah, I mean, let's not get it wrong, I'm still trying my hardest, but I don't care where the ball goes, I don't care what I shoot, the consequences of the way I play don't bother me anymore. I'm purely about what I'm working on and going out there and trying to do that on it over every shot.
Okay, cool. So a couple things in there that seem to be counterintuitive, but are actually amazing. This is great wisdom from Lee Westwood. This is I've always liked Lee Westwood. I like his game. I like his tenacity. I like his sense of humor. He said some really nice things about Fred Shoemaker, who is my mentor, so I like Lee Westwood. He is a good guy. But I also like his perception on golf at this point in his life, because he said that he was a dangerous man now because he just doesn't care anymore. And that this interviewer sort of took some note of that, then asked him to kind of expound on it. He did a great job. Basically saying he doesn't care what he shoots. He doesn't care where the ball goes. He doesn't really care what his final score is, and that's what makes him dangerous. Well, to a lot of us out there, that probably sounds completely crazy, right? But it is brilliant. And I'll tell you why. That Lee Westwood has basically taken everything in about the golf game and put it into a very concise little place. In order to play your very best golf, and you care about playing your very best golf, you really can't care about your individual shots. You can't get so wrapped up in the result of an individual shot that it affects your performance. And this is why that works. If you get so caught up and so freaked out and so interested or panicked in the next shot, then chances are the conscious mind is going to sneak in a little bit. You're going to get all up into thinking about the mechanics of your golf swing. You're going to start noticing all the trouble out there, and you're going to overthink this thing. When you can stay out of that frame of mind and stay focused on just being there and letting the golf swing happen and not having your emotions tied to the result of the next shot, you can play pretty freewheeling golf, and that is always your best golf. So that's just complete brilliance on Lee Westwood's part. And it's so nice and refreshing to hear somebody say it exactly how it is. In order to, if you really, really care about your golf game, if you really care about performing well as a golfer, then you better not care about each individual shot and the result of that shot, because that gets in the way of your best performance. So hopefully that makes some sense there, but it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy good wisdom from Lee Westwood. So excellent. Really, really cool to hear that. Okay. The next one then is from Bryson DeChambeau, who currently on this Friday leads at the Dubai Desert Classic. But he's known as our mad scientist. He embraces technology. I've talked about him before. I'm fascinated by Bryson. I'm fascinated by his journey. I absolutely, completely agree with him on most things that he says about the golf swing. And I love the fact that he embraces technology. And when he talks about his golf swing, he's not talking about some sort of crazy feels that he felt when he was out playing. He is talking about fact, about data. And he has got all the data to show you and prove to you that he knows exactly what he's talking about, that he knows his golf swing. So what does that do for him when he's out playing? When you have complete understanding of what your golf swing is and what it isn't, then you can play freely, as Lee Westwood talks about. When you are not completely freaked out and confused by your golf swing, golf slows down and becomes a much easier game. Now, there's a couple quirks. I've read a lot of comments and things about Bryson DeChambeau's swing, and he does tend to do things differently. He does have the one-length clubs. He does tend to look a little robotic at times. I think that is eventually going to go away. I think that he'll get into a nice rhythm and play really good golf. I'm not completely thrilled with his position of his driver at the top of his backswing. It seems to kind of cross the target line, which I never like. I don't like that feeling. It just it's one variable that I think he could remove from his golf swing and play much better. But I would be interested to talk to him about why he is allowing that in his golf swing. It's just adding some complexity that doesn't need to be there. And I think it makes him less consistent than he could be. And he's all about consistency and trying to figure out this game of golf and his swing. So I love it. I love everything about it. Have some questions for him. He would be one of the most fascinating guys to sit down and talk with. And Lee Westwood is definitely one of those guys now for me. I'd love to talk to him about that discussion because that's brilliant. I would love to sit down and talk to Bryson DeChambeau about what he's learning in the golf game. And I would be probably most intrigued, at least right now based on these comments. These are the two that I would like to talk to. Their minds seem to be someplace that are very, very healthy for a very good game of golf. So let's go ahead and play Bryson's little soundbite here. Again, being asked a question from the European Tour spokesperson. I don't have the guy's name, so I apologize, but appreciate the European Golf Tour putting these up for us. But let's play that from Bryson DeChambeau.
You've said that you want to get a better understanding of this game than anyone's ever had in the past. Just elaborate on that for us a little bit.
I want to be able to go out on the golf course and not really, it feels a little different today or something's a little different. I don't know what it is and you can't understand it. That's not me. I want to be able to go, it's because of this, this, and this. And be able to calibrate for it and then ultimately perform because of those unique and different conditions. So that's what I mean. I'm trying to figure out different conditions, different atmospheres, different temperatures, different soil types, different firmness values of greens, just everything. Trying to understand as much as I possibly can so I can be consistent.
How far along that journey are you?
Probably have a good 50 to 60% probably done. And that last 40% is a lot. So.
Fascinating to hear your thoughts as ever. Good luck tomorrow.
How awesome is that? Bryson DeChambeau wants to understand everything about his golf game. He's taken it even further. He's taken it far beyond anything I would ever consider. And we've seen him do this. We've seen him hitting golf balls after spraying a little water on the golf balls to try to understand how it's changing the spin and the flight and the distance. So he goes above and beyond. And the point being is he does not want to not know what's going on. And that we can understand. There is great inconsistency that can enter into a golf game when we don't know what's going on. That's where frustration comes from. That's where we hate the game. And then we get that one good shot that brings us back. And we just hope and try to find some kind of consistency. And that's what Bryson has been using technology to do. And he is trying to just play. He says there that he just wants to be consistent. So he wants to take into all the variables and be consistent. Okay. The way to get that done is using technology. It's that day and age, folks. And you can improve more quickly using technology than you can sitting there and beating a million balls. I really believe you can learn more with technology and 20 balls than you can learn with no technology and 1,000 balls, as far as getting better with your golf game. With technology, you can work on the things that are actually wrong with your swing. And without technology, you are guessing. And data has shown that we have very little ability to self-diagnose our own golf swings. Okay, self-diagnosis can only happen and occur after we have figured out and learned what our golf swings are actually doing. When we can start actually saying, hey, this feel, this motion is doing this, and you know that that's real and the data backs it up, then you can start to trust in your golf swing, and then you can start to know your golf swing. Until you have that feedback, it's just a great big huge guessing game. And the golf swing is so complex and happens so quickly. There is no other way to do it. And I love that, again, Bryson DeChambeau is a poster child for this stuff. And here he is again leading now. He flew halfway across the world, and now he's leading this golf tournament. He has great understanding of his golf swing. He trusts in his golf swing. And when you have that kind of understanding, when you get out on the golf course and things start to go a little awry, you know enough about your golf swing, what's actually going on, that you can make slight adjustments and play better. Now, he's taken it to a whole new level. He wants to figure out soil types and grass types and all that. That's obviously going beyond anything that we would ever be necessarily interested in as amateurs who don't, treat it as a full-time job. But hey, I appreciate this young man for taking it that far. He is taking his job seriously, and he is embracing every ounce of technology that's going to make him play more consistently. Just beautiful. I think it's really, really fascinating. So if you go to the European Tour site, you can kind of see these little interviews and listen to them a couple times. Both players have really hit on some things that are very important for our golf games. To really perform well, we can't care about how the shot-to-shot outcomes are going. We need to stay out of that. In order to really, if you really care, then don't care. But how you kind of put that into a nutshell. And then with Bryson DeChambeau, if you really want to get good at golf, you better figure out what your golf swing is. And the only way to do it is to get some piece of technology that works for you, that gives you some feedback that you can actually use and appreciate. I know I've mentioned it 100 times. The swing bite works for me. It's very visual. It's very graphical. I don't really have to get into any of the numbers at all. I can see my swing in a 3D graph. I can see my swing in four 2D lines to really understand what's going on. It's been a brilliant way to learn what my golf swing does. It would be a brilliant way for you to learn what your golf swing does. But you've got a lot of other devices that can do that too. And I'm sure from the PGA merchandising show, there's going to be a few more. So really, really cool show. I really appreciated both of these guys coming out and saying these things. Very important to remember both of these things when we're working on our golf games moving into spring, but really good. So hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the tournament, both here and in Dubai, and we will talk again soon. Thank you. And remember, better data always means better golf. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Data Access Golf with Aaron Stewart. Check us out online at dataaccessgolf.com, and we'll see you on the next episode.